Hello, my name is Nuno. I'm a Navien technician, and today we're going to be covering a field gas conversion on the NPE series water heaters. A couple tools that will be necessary to complete today's task will be a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. You're going to need a standard T-stat screwdriver, also a 5/32 Allen wrench. Something that's optional is your air to gas, your gas analyzer. It's an optional tool. And you'll need a manometer, which needs, if you're going single port, your manometer needs to be able to read positive and negative gas pressures. Okay, so once you have all your tools and you're ready to start your job, when you open your unit and you have your unit mounted, inside your cover, which I'm going to go ahead and take off the cover for you now. So just 4 Phillips screws that hold on your cover. Set these screws aside, take off the cover. I'm going to set this down right here. So inside your cover, you're going to have your gas conversion kit provided for you here. So now that we have removed our gas conversion guide inside of our cabinet, there's going to be a couple things that are provided for you. One, I highly recommend that you fully read all the instructions, read your entire gas conversion guide, and make sure that you know what you're doing. What's going to be provided for you in your gas conversion guide is your instructional pamphlet. Photographs and everything are in there for you. You're also going to have 2 stickers that are provided for you. This one sticker that's provided for you is going to you're going to fill in the data. It's going to show you when you converted this unit from natural gas to LP. Because remember, every unit from the box comes as a natural gas unit. So if you have it otherwise, you're going to have to convert your unit. So one sticker, once you convert it, you just stick it on the side. And the other one says this unit has been converted. So make sure that both these stickers are put on your unit once you've done your conversion. The final thing that's going to be inside that little packet for you is going to be your conversion plate, also some O-rings and hardware in case you lose any, and some seals. We made sure that we have all the tools and all the parts necessary to do this conversion. We're going to make sure that the unit is unplugged from the wall, so we have no power, and we're going to make sure that there is no gas whatsoever going to this unit. If you've already established gas, make sure to shut off your gas pipe. We don't want any kind of issues. We don't want gas leaks here. So once we've gone that far and now we're safe and ready to continue with our conversion here, we're going to go ahead and remove our gas tube. So you have 2 bolts, 2 screws on the bottom flange and 4 screws on the top flange. Just go ahead and take these off with your number 2 Phillips screwdriver here. Now we can remove our gas tube. Let's go ahead and set that down. Now that we've removed this, you have your 2 O-rings, which is our seals. We can replace them, or if they're in good condition, you can also reuse them. Either way, if you are going to reuse your old O-rings or your old gaskets, properly inspect each one. Make sure there's no rips, cracks, tears, or pinches, anything that would cause a leak. So you want to go ahead and do a real good inspection of your O-rings. The following step is going to be to remove our orifice plate here. Something to take notice is this plate is stamped 240A and 210A natural gas. So what that lets us know is this is a model select orifice plate. So if you have the wrong orifice plate, if it doesn't match up with what the serial number or the model number on the side of your unit has, you got a problem. At that point, I would recommend calling technical support and getting the problem resolved. We may have sent you the wrong orifice plate, or they may have installed the wrong orifice plate. Very not likely, but just take note to that. Once again, these are number 2 Phillips screws, really small screws here, so be careful. And these 2 screws hold on your orifice plate. You get these off for you, okay, and your plate's gonna fall right out. Also take note that it is directional. You can't put it upside down. If you're forcing this, something's wrong. You shouldn't be having to force this. It should sit right in there. The screw holes should align perfectly. If they're not aligning perfectly, you're doing it wrong. So I'm going to put this orifice plate aside. Now there is a seal inside of here. I'm going to remove this just to show you. I mean, usually when you do this, you're going to be working with a brand new unit because you're just doing the conversion. So your seals should be in good condition. Always inspect them, make sure that they're in good working condition, no leaks, cracks, tears, or pinches. And if you feel that they are, if you feel the need to replace them, you can. In your provided kit, you should have extra seals here. So you have extra hardware in case you lose one of these two little screws there. You also have your seals and everything else necessary. But in this event, everything here is brand new, so I'm not going to replace those because I know they're good. And I'm going to take out my brand new, out of my package, my brand new orifice plate. So this one here, like we said, is a 240A, 210A LP conversion plate here. So I know this is the one I'm looking for because I want to convert this to LP. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that in there, and everything aligns perfectly. Both all my holes and my screw holes align just fine. So make sure you have a good seal. If this plate doesn't seal properly in there, you will have combustion issues. A quick note to do when you're working on this is don't force anything. If it's not going in, if it's not aligning and it doesn't look right, it's probably not right. Everything should just sit right in there. All the holes should line right up. Every screw should just go in easily. No problems, so don't force anything. Without stripping the screws, you want to make sure it's properly tightened. The reason for that is if there is any leaks, it's going to cause combustion failure, or combustion issues. So make sure you got a great seal there. Make sure everything fits and seals just right. Okay, and now I'm going to do a quick inspection, make sure that all my O-rings and gaskets are in perfect working condition. So I'm going to sit this right in there. Everything looks good so far. I got my LP conversion plate. Just double checking, it does say LP on there, so I know I got the right one in there. And let me start getting my gas system back in. I would recommend not fully tightening them, just getting them all in there as pilots. If it doesn't go in there easily, you have a problem there. So everything sat just right. Now I know I haven't cross-threaded or stripped anything. And go ahead and start tightening everything down. The following step will be to flip your dip switch. So on your dip switches, you have two banks of dip switches. A larger bank, which is 1 through 10, and another small bank, which is just 2 single dip switches. So what we're going to make sure is if on your little bank, which has your 2 dip switches only, if they're both down, that means you're in natural gas. We're going to go ahead and move number 2 up and put your little cover back on. So now what we've done is we've told the computer board or your front panel, which is linked into your computer board, we've let that know that this is an LP conversion, and on the mechanical side we've converted our plate. So the unit is completely converted over to LP. So in order to finish this off, what we're going to go ahead and do is check our gas pressures. But one thing to note is that this unit should run fine. Once you do an LP conversion, it's going to work just great. You shouldn't have any problems. As long as your gas pressure is within the within manufacturer specifications, which is anywhere from 8 to 13.5 inches of water column, you're going to have no problems. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to check our incoming gas pressure, both with the unit not running, and we're going to fire the unit and make sure that it's still within our specifications. Once again, 8 to 13.5 inches of water column. That's only for LP. So if it stays within those manufacturer specifications, we're going to move on to the final step. That's going to be adjust our manifold pressure, just to ensure that we have a clean burn. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and before I activate gas pressure to this, I'm going to connect my manometer. So my manometer is set for inches of water column. If you have it in any other measurement, it's not going to be reading properly. And I'm going to plug it into this bottom port here. So I just cracked that loose there. There's 2 ports. We're going to check the bottom one. When you're connecting to the bottom port, you're basically checking your system, not really checking your manifold pressure. So let me just zero this in. We're zeroed. We're set for inches of water column. I'm going to plug this right on there. Now that my gas is good to go, I'm at 11.5. Around 11.6 inches of water column, which is right where specifications are calling for. So I know I'm good to go here. The following thing I'm going to do, let me just go ahead and plug this unit in and activate gas. So the unit already did its pre-diagnosis, already checked itself out, making sure that everything's working properly. We're still 11.11 inches of water column. A little bit of fluctuation, but within specifications. No problems there. So the final step is let's go ahead and fire this. Let me make sure my valves are open and go right about 4 GPM. So what this is telling us is in operation, and we're going to go ahead, since we're doing this test in a lab here, we're going to go ahead and activate our draft hood. So the sound you're hearing is our draft hood's kicking on. But what we're trying to do is make sure that in operation, so we're about 6 GPM right now going through this unit, so that's a pretty high fire. So I know in high fire and low fire, or in static, our unit is staying within the manufacturer specifications. So we were looking from anywhere from 8 on the low end to 13.5 on the high end. So our unit was at 11.6, and when we fired it up, we're all the way up to 7.2 GPMs. We're at 10.5. So whatever our tests are we're going to perform today, our gas pressure is staying within our requirements. So we're good to proceed to the final stage, which is adjusting our manifold pressure. So let me go ahead and shut off. I'm going to turn off the unit. I'm going to power it off, and I'm going to shut my gas off. You can go ahead and do that for me. Thank you very much. So now we've gone and shut everything off. We have we're going to go ahead and should be close this off. So what we've done now is we've ensured that our entire system, our supply gas pressure is all that is within specifications, both in static and in operation in high fire. Now that we know that everything's good to go, we're able to do the last portion of this. And what we're going to do is, with our gas in the off position, there's two service ports here. The bottom service port that we were using was for the to test our gas system. The upper service port that we're going to be using here is to check our manifold pressure. So with the gas in the off position, using my T-stat small screwdriver, I'm going to go ahead and crack this loose just slightly. Not too much. You don't want that screw, you don't want to lose a screw or anything like that. So even before I connect my manometer that reads both positive and negative gas pressures, or negative pressures, I'm going to make sure it's in inches of water column. I'm going to zero it out one more time. It's always good to just zero it out. And I'm going to connect it here. Now what I'm going to do is activate gas. Thank you very much. And we're looking pretty good. So now that we have gas connected, we've all established everything, we got a good tight seal there. I'm going to turn on the unit, let it do its startup. So it should take about a second or so. Make sure your hoses aren't kinked in any way. You don't want to kink your hoses. Everything that we're doing here is in your guidelines. So the next step that we're going to do is we're going to go through our computer board and we're going to set this into minimum fire. If you don't catch everything I say here, or you can also go through your book and it'll show you exactly how to do minimum fire. So the unit's fired up. I mean, it's gone through its startup. I'm going to turn on water here and let this thing fire. So usually, right when you do the orifice plate conversion and set your dip switches, the unit will fire right up. It'll work just fine. But what we're doing here is we're calibrating the unit to make sure it's got a clean burn. So now that it's going, it's working great, the next step is going to be put this thing into minimum fire. So what you do is you press and hold your diagnostic button, which is this little guy with the service wrench, for about 5 seconds or so. Once it says 1 TST, you know you're going right. You're going to press the positive button, and it's going to show 2 OPR. 2 OPR is exactly where we want to be. You're going to press the information button, and it's going to put us into that mode. So now it's showing us we're in normal fire. We're going to press the positive button, and they put us into min fire 1. We're looking for min fire 1. So if you leave it, it should set it in. You can also push the information button and it'll lock it in as well. So right now the unit is in minimum fire 1, and our manifold pressure is at negative 0.01. Going off all the readings in your little pamphlet here, we have an NPE, an LP we converted to gas. So what we're looking for is a negative 0.02. Key word there, it's got to be a negative 0.02. And we're at negative 0.01. So plus or minus 1. So we're already within specifications. But in order to adjust this, and I'm going to try to get that right on perfect. So with a pretty big flathead screwdriver here, your standard screwdriver, just going to crack this, take this cap off of your gas valve. Just a brass cap there. We're going to put this aside. Careful not to lose that. And then using a 5/32 Allen wrench. So a 5/32 Allen wrench. And right where I pull that cap off, inside of there, there's an Allen screw. This is your proportional valve here. So when you do any adjustments, be very careful not to do quarter turns. Give it a second. Let the unit adjust. Then take your readings. If it's not where you want it to be, then do another quarter turn. Don't go too buck wild with this thing. So here we go. We're at 0.01. Our specifications are calling for 0.02 plus or minus 0.01. So we're already within specs, but just to show you, we're gonna just do a little turn there. Give it a second. Let's see what it does. Now we're at negative 0.02. We're right on specifications. We're looking for 0.02. We're at 0.02. So now we know that we've properly done our adjustment. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. Get my little cap here, my brass cap. Get that on there. Make sure that's tightened up. What I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to shut the unit off. I'm going to shut my gas off. That way, when I close this off, I don't have any gas leaks. Now that we're all shut off, gas is shut off. Pull this away. Close this up. That's tight. Everything's good to go. So as of this point, we're ready to use our water heater. Earlier in the video, we showed you how to use a manometer. For this section, we're going to be using a gas air analyzer. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, just to show you our incoming gas pressures throughout this whole video, on the bottom service port here, I'm going to go ahead and just, with my gas in the off position, just going to go ahead and crack that loose and connect my manometer. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my gas pressure. So we're about 11 and a half inches of water column coming into the unit. So we're within manufacturer specifications. Navien has already provided you a service port here, right in the back near your exhaust. So there's a little plate here. You're gonna just loosen this screw once again, it's a Phillips number 2 screw. Just slide that little cap there down, and then there's a plug, a rubber plug. Pull that rubber plug and also get it out of the way. I highly recommend that you don't fully remove that screw, because what will happen is your plug and all your stuff will fall in the back and you'll never be able to retrieve it. So just loosen it just enough where you can slide everything down. So now that we have our service port available, we're going to get our combustion analyzer, and I've already taken the liberty to set this to propane. But make sure when you're doing this, you set your analyzer to the gas type that you're using. So this is already set to propane, and you get it started. I'm going to put this in that service port there. Once again, this is our incoming gas pressure. Now we're going to our service port. So now that we're all set and good to go, power up the unit. Unit's going to do its startup. We're going to go to our booklet here. Now our booklet is going to provide us all the information we need. So a couple things that we need to know is all our readings must be 0.5% of what our booklet says. What I'm going to do is get some flow and fire this unit up. Unit's firing. So in order to do this, we need to have the unit in minimum fire. So once again, you're going to go to your little service guy here, your diagnostic button, 1 TST. So we're on the right page here. Going to change that to 2 OPR by pressing the positive button. Now I'm going to press the information here, which locks that in. Then it says normal. We're looking for minimum fire, min 1. That's exactly where we should be at. Lock that in. So we've got our unit into minimum fire. Now if I went a little fast for you there, the directions are right here. So you will be able to just read them. It'll be a lot easier. So don't worry too much about that. So what we got going here, our water heater is in minimum fire. Our gas pressure is within limits. So we're good to continue on. And we're going to let this calibrate for a second. We're working with an NPE 240 LP model now. We've done the LP conversion. Our CO values, or CO2, should be at, on our LP model, 10.8. We're at 10.65. So if we're within 0.5%, we're within limits. So we're right now at 10.8. So we're good to go already. But if you do need to make an adjustment here, I'm going to set that down there. your large standard screwdriver, just take this cap off here, right on your gas proportional valve. Got that off. Then with an Allen wrench, a 5/32 Allen wrench, you're gonna put that in there, and you're gonna make small adjustments. When you make an adjustment, I mean, because it does, depending on your analyzer, some take longer than most, or some are quick. It all depends. Make an adjustment. Give the heater time to give it time to settle. So I would say after every adjustment, at least 30 seconds minimum. So we're right now at 10.8. We want to 10.65. We're already good to go. We're already within specs. Let's just do quarter turn. Never too much. Never too much. Let's let it sit there for a little bit. See what it does. So once again, we're back within specifications. We're at 10.84, 10.78. So you're seeing there's a slight delay. As long as you're 0.5%, you're going to be good to go. So we are still within specifications. We're right now at 10.71, which is well within specifications. So we know our combustion's good. We know our incoming gas pressure is good. So remember, anytime you want to do your combustion, your incoming gas, your system has to be done right. So make sure you always have good incoming gas pressure, or you'll never be able to do a good combustion or a good test here. So we're at 10.71 within specifications. So everything's working good. I'm going to go ahead and remove my Allen wrench. Put the little cap back on, which is right here on the proportional valve on the main gas valve. Tighten that up. We're good to go. So the final thing I'm going to do, shut my gas off, turn everything off. Now that my gas is shut off, we're good to go. I'm going to make sure everything is tightened up. Wouldn't want to leave a leak. So everything's tightened up. Clean everything off. And we're good to start using our water heater. Oh, one more second. You have your little plug here. Careful, because as you've been using your burner, it will be somewhat hot. So be very careful with your hands. Just put your plug right in there. Cap up that hole. Then you have your little your metal cap that ensures that that's not coming off. Now that we've completed our entire gas conversion, we've calibrated everything, we know it's all within specifications. Make sure to turn on your unit. Just put your cover back on. So our unit's working fine. Let's go ahead and test this thing out. So, and we know our water heater is working just great.